trying a lot of new things today. New motorcycles, new baggage, new chin mounts. And there we go. We are looking at the Scrambler 400X. That's just, it's just a good looking bike. Just a good looking bike. We are going to do a first impressions thing, which one of the things we can do here. Put our phone up, plug our charger in, turn on our electric, and we're charging. Awesome. You can see there with our speedometer, we got quite a few things going on there. Things that it even tells you that the kickstand's down. That's pretty cool. We're in for 1 mile. We have 1 mile on there. We're at 1,000 RPMs. We're in neutral. Traction control is on. ABS is on, and I don't know how to cut any of that off at this particular moment. So from what I understand, it's pretty darn easy on here. Now we're going to throw our leg over it and see. She has more sound than the Himalayan had, and the throttle turns really easily. You can see your RPMs on the speedo there. Now this thing has a 600-mile service, so basically we're just going to be putting around for 600 miles. The balls of my feet are barely touching the ground. It is definitely a taller bike. I've got to lean forward because the handlebars are so wide. When I turn, I got to lean forward. All right, let's go. Oh, she's a little kicky. 4th gear, 5th gear, and we also have a 6-speed here, which is going to be a little different than what I'm used to. I think I'm going to have to adjust my telephone a little bit. We're in 5th gear, running about 45. Even though this is a 6-speed, I can definitely tell it's geared to pull very much like the Himalayan was, to be honest with you. But this has got a little bit more zip, a little more zap, a little more zip and zap. Shifts really easily. Shifts easily, but it definitely jumps. It definitely acts like it wants to go faster. Okay, so we're running, what, 55 now in 6th gear. Okay, here's the exact first impression of this 55 miles an hour. It's definitely windy. You have nothing breaking the wind. Breaking the wind. That's funny. There isn't anything though. I'm going to need some kind of window, some kind of something. Triumph does make a window, a fly screen as they call it, but it's really small. I don't know that it even comes up even with the bar on the handlebars, the crossbar. Front brake, it's grippy. you can hit this bike, man. Oh my gosh, what an upgrade. Got a lot of waves today, a lot of waves. Harley dude. All right now, brother. Harley dude waves at you and you're on your Triumph. Things are good. Anybody feeling a little Yorktown in their blood? Man, that thing just turned so easy. That wasn't even funny. There was no balance problem, no feeling uncomfortable, nothing. It turned so easily. I mean, I don't know if I could have turned the monkey that easy. Keeping my balance, keeping my balance, keeping my balance. Oh yeah, the bike balances really well. Going down to the river. Man, there's some big old bass hanging out along that edge over there. Anyway, let's go back up here. Get on this motorcycle. Head back to the house and get us some dinner. I don't even know what time it is. About 20 minutes to 5. Get back to the house and talk about this thing for just a minute or 5. So, we're back in the house. We put 52 miles. That's right. 52 miles we put on the Triumph Scrambler 400X today. It's 2024. It's first year bike. That's right. First year that this bike has been out. So being a first year bike, let's talk a little bit about how hard it is to get stuff forward at this point. Okay. I've put a few things on it. We're going to talk about the upgrades really fast and get that out of the way. I put the side bag. That's right. The floppy bag. It's not a hard bag. We actually thought it was a hard bag at the dealership when we looked it up online in their computer. It looks like a hard bag, but it's not. Obviously, it's not a hard bag, but it works. It holds things. It rolls up and clips, and it's adjustable, and the rack is so simple to put on. 2 bolts, and bam, it screws right on. Great. I'm going to love using that. Sad you can't get one for both sides, but the exhaust on the other side is part of that problem. There's other bikes like that. Both of my Honda Monkeys are the same way. The exhaust comes off the top half side, so you can't put a bag or anything on that side. So it is what it is. I'm not worried about that. So what did we do to take care of that issue? I bought the rear rack too as well. Bolted that on, got a nice spot back there. I had a bag left over from the Himalayan that will suffice for now. And after putting that rack on, another very simplistic addition. 4 bolts into the frame, up top under the seat there, the passenger seat. 4 bolts hold the flat aluminum plate on. You're done. There's nothing to it. All very simple, very simple. Quality of those particular parts are very good, very good. So I'm okay there. Those are my 2 additions at this point that are actually Triumph additions. My other additions being I changed the crossbar and the handlebars. I put an aftermarket version up there because the Triumph crossbar was a solid bar that was down really low. on the handlebar, and it left a whole lot from the center of the handlebar where it begins to go outward. It left a whole lot of flex to me. So I wanted the crossbar up higher, and I did. I put an aftermarket one in and put it up higher. So now you get a little bit more rigidity. That's right, used a big R word, rigidity. And I think I used it correctly. Anyway, I did that, and a phone holder, it's not, you know, a quad lock or nothing like that. It's $29 on Amazon, and my phone did fine, did great. A little big and bulky, but oh well, it does what I want it to do. So that's on there, along with my USB charging port, which is mounted right to where the handlebars mount. In between, there's a little gap, and you can pass the wire ties through and put it on there. So all that's fine. Everything's good. Those are my upgrades for the bike at this particular point. Will there be more? Yes, because there are going to be more that get made through the year. Being a first year bike, you know what I'm saying? First year bike, people don't put out as much. There's not as much there. Some of these aftermarket people will probably wait to see how well the bikes do the first year, and then they'll go into their design phase and make more stuff for it as the more bikes sell. They did the same thing for the Monkey, and I believe they probably did the same thing for CT125 and other bikes out there, the Yamaha, the TW200 and bikes like that. Well, the TW200 has been made since 1987. They ought to have a lot of stuff. I mean, they ought to be able to, you ought to be able to build a TW200 out of all the extra stuff that they probably make for them things, wouldn't you think? But we're not here to talk about the TW200. So at this point, that is my add-ons for the bike, and I'm okay with it. The next add-on is going to be a window, but Triumph at this point makes a very short window. It's a very small window, and you know, I think it covers just up to the speedometer and just above it. I don't think it gets up as high as the say crossbar or anything like that. So I'm going to wait until I see some other aftermarket windows, or if Triumph comes up with a pretty cool one in their world in our design department or whatever, but I'll wait that out. But I do definitely want another window. Since we're talking about the window, let's talk about wind. We're going to get on to what the impression of the bike now. You get a lot of wind because you don't have a window, and the wind comes through the forks, it comes through the handlebars, comes past the speedometer. You get a lot of wind. So when you do get up into that 60-mile-an-hour range, which I did because it's you got a 600-mile breaking point on the bike. I didn't want to take it over 60. I just wanted to stay in the 55, 60-mile range, mile per hour range on these certain roads, and you know, break it in slowly. I don't want to get out there and start redlining the thing because 600 miles will come quick, and I hope it does because I got some plans for this bike already. So the ride itself, very comfortable. The suspension works great for me. I don't see that it has any kind of issue. It feels right. It feels right, and even if I put some weight on the thing, I think it's going to be perfectly fine. Also, it will squat it down some, which will help me out because I literally am on the balls of my feet and toes on the bike. When I'm sitting at a stoplight, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times I've noticed a lot of these bikes, the foot pegs, whenever my feet are down, the foot pegs hit me right in the ankles. Or not in the ankles, but just above my ankles, you know, in my calves, all the time. It's never like when my feet are down, they're either the foot pegs in front or the foot pegs behind. They're right in the sides of my legs. I don't care what bike it is. So maybe it's me. Is it you? Does that happen to you? But that's what happens to me. But regardless, I'm on the balls of my feet. So a little weight on the bike isn't going to hurt it to help squat it down some and make it a little bit easier at stoplights and things like that. Or if I get off-road with it and get on some embankments and places where I want to be able to put my feet down and not have to bail off the bike. So anyway, the ride, very comfortable, didn't have any problem with that at all. Along with the ride, let's talk about the seat, because that was one of my major problems with the Himalayan. The seat was so uncomfortable, but it was just me, maybe, I don't know. I hear other people say the same thing. I bought the touring model seat, helped a little. I would say helped about 3%, because within 30 miles, I was struggling to find the place I could sit that it didn't hurt. But the seat on the Scrambler, very nice. It is a little hard, but it was comfortable hard. It was like, I didn't have to move around looking for a comfortable spot. Wherever I sat, I was okay. And if I did get tired of that spot and move to a different one, well, I was okay again for a long time. So for 50-some miles, 52 miles, I was totally cool. No problems whatsoever in the comfort department. Vision, all right? I could see the speedometer was in a great place. The gauges and everything were perfectly fine for me. Having to wear glasses where I've got bifocals and, you know, the normal up top there. For me to be able to really read the numbers and stuff, I have to look through the bifocals and look down. And I didn't have to kind of hang over the handlebar to see if everything was cool. It was good. I had no problem whatsoever, could see just fine. So I enjoyed the speedometer. I like the mix of analog and digital. I think that's very cool. I love the old analog style speedometer. I love that. And then all the other things like knowing what gear I'm in. Of course, you have tells you what gear you're in there. Your gas gauge, got to have a gas gauge. Those kind of things. Loved it. Everything was perfectly fine. Mirrors. The mirrors are out kind of wide because the handlebars are out kind of wide. Actually, they're a little too wide for me. I know that the Speed 400 has a narrow handlebar. That would probably be better for me. Because for me, being 5'8", I'm 165, 70 pounds, depending, I'm out kind of wide, which being out kind of wide like that, my index finger and thumb are really taking the grunt of things. My palm, because my arm is at an angle this way, you know, my fist is lifting off the handlebar, so my palm is not really on the handlebar. I have to twist my arms to be flat on the grips, if you know what I'm talking about. So I could use a little bit more narrow handlebar. That could be in the future. I could get the bars for a Speed 400 and put those on there. So that would take care of that problem. The grips are very comfortable. You don't feel a lot of vibration. I didn't feel a lot of vibration. You can definitely feel it. You're dealing with a single cylinder engine, so you're going to feel it. You're going to feel a little bit. So I didn't have a problem with it though. I wasn't even thinking about it. I mean, you just, when you're out there riding the bike and you know you got to come back in here and do your impression of the bike or tell your impression of the bike, you start eyeballing and listening everything. And so the only reason I paid any attention to the vibration was strictly because of that. I wanted to be able to tell you guys, yes, there is a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of vibration. And the reason for that is really single cylinder engine and the gearing the way it is. The gearing is tight, okay? And the gearing is short-lived, all right? First and second gear, literally a stepping stone to third. And when I say that, I mean you're like, whop, third gear, you're there. That's how that bike is made. That's the way it's geared. That's how it works. So all of the gearing, you're going to be able to hear the RPMs. You're going to be up there a little bit in the 4,000 range or above through the gears. You're going to hear it. Let's just say that, okay? I'm just going to go with that. You'll experience that. You'll notice it the first time you ride it. The gearing is short. You're going to go through them pretty fast. But that's okay. Sixth gear, again, I ran up 60 miles an hour and I wasn't having a problem there, and I felt like it had a lot more behind it. But because of the break-in period, I wasn't going to go over 60, so I kept it at 60 miles an hour or under, depending on where I was, neighborhoods or whatever. Let's talk about neighborhoods. Buzzing through the neighborhood. Third and fourth gear. I was in third and fourth gear at 25. I could go through the neighborhoods. The balance of the bike at low speeds was great. I could pull up the stop signs. As lights were changing, I could go down the first gear, pull the clutch in, and I could be barely moving and keep the balance of the bike perfectly fine. Himalayan never could. Couldn't do it to save my life. It just, that bike always felt like it wanted to just flop over on its side like an old hound on the front porch and just lay there. It just was a very droopy, lopey kind of feeling. You know, just always wanted to just fall over and say, rub my belly. You know, that never was that bike that had that active, let's go. It never gave me that. The Triumph gives you that. It gives you that, I want to go. Let's get out of here. Let's go do something. All right, tires. Tires handled great. I did a high speed. I was 55, 60 miles an hour, and I was doing a little weaving, man. I was cutting with it. It does that great. And I can only imagine that having the 19-inch front wheel, what the speed with a 17-inch front wheel, how easy that bike probably handles. But I'm going to tell you right now, the 400X, it was great, man. It just, like I said, the Himalayan always had that feel like I just want to fall over on my side. But not this one. Making U-turns, I made several U-turns and came back from one, area and went around. you let the bike kind of do it. You just let the bike kind of make the U-turn and go. You're not manhandling it like a big heavy bike. My last Harley Davidson was the same way. You're manhandling that thing. It doesn't just make a turn by itself. This bike, the Scrambler, does not do that. It just goes, okay, let's turn. And you almost just let it turn and you go. And that was very gratifying, I can tell you that right now. The tires were great, again, with the weaving and the cutting and the tight turns. The tires that come on it are fine. Are they aggressive for off-road? No. Can they handle a little off-road? Yeah, 20%, 30, something like that. I'm sure they probably can. That will be a video for another day. Plenty of power coming out of that single cylinder. You got a 39 point something. I can't remember anyway. It's close to 40. You're right on the border of 40 horsepower. And in third and fourth, running the 25 and 30 mile an hour neighborhood kind of thing, you hit it and it would just, it just let you know, hey, I'm still here, I'm awake, I'm alive. And that's part of that gearing. And with that 40 horsepower, you got plenty. You got plenty. You won't have any problems there. Now, it's not unmanageable power. It's not going to just jump up in the air and throw you off the back. It's not going to do that. It doesn't do that. If you get a chance to actually test ride one of these, that's the way to go. For me, I could have, and I was asked if I wanted to, but the problem with when I bought the bike, there was a lot of snow melt going on. The roads were covered in salt and water, and the snow melting and going across the road, and I didn't want to ride the bike in that. But I knew that trading in the Himalayan, what I was going towards with the Triumph was going to be so much better and so much more bike that I wasn't going to be uptight in any way, shape, or form about the way it handled or performed. Sound. It's got that poppity pop pop. It's got a good sound to it. This bike has a little life to it. You can hear it. You can hear it, and you can hear that it wants to go. Were there any cons to the bike? The only con that I had about the bike is the width of the handlebars. For me, they're a little too wide. But that's it. That's it. Everything else about the bike was great. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, all right? Because I'm not a professional bike rider by any means, all right? I'm not on YouTube to promote motorcycles and tell you how each one is and review each one and all of that, okay? If you want that, you go to Revzilla, you go to Dork in the Road, you do that kind of thing. Those are the people that you're gonna wanna listen to for actual reviews. What I am, I'm the common man, okay? I'm the guy that goes out, says he wants to get a motorcycle, has something but don't like it, or wants to get something else. Now, I've been riding bikes, riding motorcycles since I was 3. Okay, my brother put me on a Honda Monkey, a Z50, when I was 3 years old. I hit the gas, took off across the yard. He lost control of the bike himself. He was holding it, and I slammed right into a pine tree. Did I get up and cry? No, I got up and tried to stand it back up by myself. I wanted to ride, and he was laughing, put me back on it, and we went again. I've been riding ever since. I've had everything. YZ125s, KX125, KX85, KX80s. I've had Yamaha 100s. I've had Honda 100s. I've had Enduro bikes. Triumph Bonneville. 6 different Harley Davidsons, from Sportsters all the way to a Heritage Softail. So I've been riding all my life. I know what different bikes feel like. And I know just enough to be able to tell you guys, if you're looking for something that's fun, you can right at this moment, it's a first-year bike, right at this moment, you can get some good aftermarket stuff for it right now, even after a year. And you're looking for a little bit of power and you want to go some distance, you want a commuter bike to buzz around town, I can honestly tell you right now, the 2024 Triumph Scrambler 400X is a fun bike. It's a fun bike. Now remember what you're buying, okay? You're looking at the price point of $5,700, depending on where you buy it at, $57.99. I actually got a good deal on mine because they had 2 24s left and they wanted to blow them out. So they dropped mine down considerably. My bike was $48.99 instead of $57.99. So I got a good deal on it. They gave me a decent deal on my Himalayan, which I knew I was not going to get a super great deal on because, let's just face it, the bikes do not hold their value. It's just how it is. And it's unfortunate, but it is. The quality of the 2 bikes are night and day. Even though they both come out of India, the quality of the bikes are night and day. The welds on the Himalayan, not great. Okay, not great. They're just not. The weight of the Himalayan, Not great, considering a 24 horsepower engine on a 411, and then you got 439 pounds of bike, where the Triumph is 40 horsepower and 395 pounds. Huge difference there. You can tell that difference when you're riding the two bikes. I'm going to tell you, for me personally, I'm glad I made the transition. I was not happy with the Himalayan, but I'm not taking away anything from it. Mechanically, that bike did everything I asked of it. Okay? I'm not taking that away from the bike. It just wasn't for me. So anyway, my first impression, first 52 miles on that bike, I had a blast. Handles great, rides great, plenty of power, shifts good, very smooth. Nice comfortable seat I didn't have a problem with. Suspension felt great. Tires seemed to be perfectly fine to do what I was doing today. We'll have to try off-road some other time. Lots of aftermarket parts at this point for Triumph. Everything that you would need, from bags to rear racks to windows, they have it already. So I'm glad, I'm happy with my purchase. I hope this helped you guys out there in some way, shape, or form that are looking for a cool bike like this, the Scrambler version. I hope this helps you. This is not a review. This is nothing more than the common dude who's been riding for a while telling you it's a cool bike. I had a good time. We'll see you guys on the next one, whatever the next one may be. I get the feeling it's not going to be far off. It's probably going to be very soon, I would say, because I really, I want to go ride right now. I could go ride right now.